Okay. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, cool. All right. So we could take a look at your match history really quickly or your profile. So how are you feeling in like your recent games or the patch in general?
Um, I know I have clear like weaknesses that I know that I need to work on, but I just don't think I know how to yet. But with the passive this, I feel like I feel like my problem is that maybe I'm committing too hard early on, or that I don't know how to recognize that this position I'm in is a bad position and let's get the fuck out
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
try to do a different position to either try to get like a top
Oh, what the?
4 or like a oh yeah, I hit the nuts there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, keep going.
And like either like I don't know like I guess like when I'm having trouble is like when I'm in those positions that's like okay like my position is not going to be a first or a second, but maybe I can scrap by and get like a third or a fourth. And then I think like that's where I'm just like I feel like I could get better at that.
Mm, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Like being more flexible, I guess, is what it would be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty sounds like pretty familiar to a lot of the people I coach. Like being able to capitalize on high roll spots is like or spots where you're comfortable is like good, but then in order to climb, you also have to like mitigate how much you like, go bot 2, bot 4 and everything and turn like your sixth into like fourths and stuff like that because that's like what really makes the difference when you climb because everyone's gonna have like
Yeah.
good games and bad games, but it's about like capitalizing really hard on your high rolls and then like softening the blow as much as possible on your low rolls. um
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
yeah, so it seems like maybe you have a bit of trouble on like when you're low rolling and you can't like salvage it or maybe find angles where you can turn it into something a little bit better.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Okay. All right. So going into this game, is there anything like specific that you
So
want to
I
like talk about
guess
before it
like
starts, or you just want to get into it?
also like I feel like here's another thing that like I'm gonna admit to do. Sometimes I will not pick an augment because I feel like I'm not as comfortable and I will try to fish for a better augment or one that I feel like
Hmm.
may be better for like items that I currently have.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's best to just go with the augment that is presented with me currently that is like decent and then try to work around that. Like I guess like I don't know like which one to choose at
Hmm.
when. So I feel like this one was one of my first augment that like I was like okay like I believe I re-rolled it and then that allowed me not to re-roll a prismatic on 4-2.
Mm. Okay.
So like I
Um.
don't know if I should have saved my re-roll or like or or if I picked the wrong augment essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd say about that is, well, there's like a few things that go with like what you said. Like, there's the part where it's taking what you're offered versus re-rolling for something better, and then there's also the part where it's taking what might be correct but you're not comfortable with it, or playing around something that you are comfortable with. So like, for example, maybe on like 2-1 you're offered Oxforce Crest, which is a pretty strong augment statistically, but you're just not comfortable playing around it. So you like roll for something else that you're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
versus like you get an option that is pretty good, but you want something that's like really good instead. So I think they're like those are like two different situations. We'll see what comes up here. But when it comes to that, I guess it just comes to uh, it depends on your spot, I guess. Sometimes you might want, or like I don't know, your spot and your like your play style. If you're like very aggressive and you want to take the chance on getting a really good option versus just taking what's like okay, then you can do that. But sometimes saving your reroll is good. Sometimes good enough is good enough because you could roll and get options that are all worse. So, yeah, there's like different variables that come into making a decision on when to take an augment versus roll for something better.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
Okay.
Um, I well, I guess like I know there's like not one I guess this will be a question that I wanted to ask. Like I know there's not one like play style, but
Hmm.
like it's probably best to at least be like familiar on like different play styles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see other people's perspective. Like, even if a perspective is wrong, it's good to see other people's like ideas because then you can add that to your own. So it's like
Yeah.
if someone's like, "Oh, it's obviously you take um I don't know, let's just say Renegade Crest as a random thing. It's like you obviously take Renegade Crest because it's like OP, and then they explain to you why it's OP and stuff like that. Even if it's wrong, just like knowing like other perspectives or like hearing why they believe in what they're saying can make you
Yeah.
a better player because it gives you like if you keep yourself open minded, then you can only get like positives out of it because you just like leave yourself more options and more
Yeah,
things to
angles
like
to
learn about.
play.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, cause like like one guy that like I was friends with, and he was around like my rank, like masters. He will always tell me like, "Oh, like you play very aggressive," and then I'd be like, "Oh, like I didn't know that." Like I guess like I just thought like I was just making like the plays that like you were supposed to do.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
I didn't understood like what he meant
Hmm.
like my like play style was aggressive.
Yeah. It could just be aggressive in relation to his. Maybe he's
Yeah.
a very greedy player where you are like more ready to roll and level and stuff like that.
Yeah, like sometimes like I'll tell him like he'll be like, "Oh, like you level tier," and I was like, "Yeah, like I level tier because I wanted to like because I just thought like pushing a level to keep your win streak like alive is good because then
Hmm.
it's like one like in the long run you can generate like more gold by making sure your win streaks like going. So like sometimes like the biggest things like I guess sometimes like went out four, and then sometimes I'll go five, but sometimes I didn't need to go five,
Oh yeah.
and then I could have just stayed four, and maybe I could have still won if I played greedy, and then I like that would have been better in the
Yeah,
long
yeah.
like so. And then I was just like, oh, like I guess like for me is like I don't sometimes clearly like see it, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm just not scouting enough. So
Yeah.
like,
Uh
yeah.
mhm. That is a pretty high, what's the word? Like high skill cap part of the game is like what you just talked about right now is scouting and being able to judge board strength based off of kind of just what's the word, like visual and like intuition, I guess, like that, where it's you look at a board and you look at your own board and you could think to yourself, do I win? And do I win or do I win? And if I lose, do I win if I level here? Stuff like that is something that is really hard and it does take a lot of time. And most people, if I'm being honest, even at the very highest level, don't even think that deeply in a lot of the cases, or they don't have the time, or they forget to, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it involves a lot. So you need to know your relative board strength, other players' relative board strengths. You need to be able to compare your board right now compared to your board when you add an like so like well let's just say you're probably talking about like stage 2, 3, right? Where you're level 4 and you level to 5 to keep your streak. A lot of the
Yeah.
times you could actually just get away with not leveling to 5, but that involves scouting. It involves knowing how strong your board is versus their boards. It involves knowing like how much of a payoff do you get for leveling versus how much do you lose for actually spending all the gold. Um, Stuff like that. And then you also have to take into consideration, are they going to level? And if they level, do you still win? Or if you both are level 5, do you now lose and stuff like that? So it's like, it's a really, really deep question. And it's like
Yeah.
a lot of situations um, are really, really deep like that, where in 60% of cases it can be correct to not level, whereas in like 40% of cases it could be correct to level. Just a random number, but TFT is like a really deep game in that sense, where there's never one right answer, there's never an always, and you just need to be able to make the best decisions depending on what your spot is.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I think we can
So
get
what
started.
did
Yep.
I went
Okay, so
I tried to
oh, you tried to go for tier?
yeah, and then I ended up going vest.
Okay, okay. All right. That's a little surprising to me. I thought with your match history, it looked like you play a lot of Samira, so I assumed that you like started bow or something like
I
that.
was, but then I saw that it was all the way up there, and I
Oh,
thought
okay.
like I couldn't like go all the way up there and get
Mm-hmm.
it in
Okay.
time.
Yeah, yeah. All right. That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Uh,
But I instantly, when I saw that, I thought instantly maybe I just keep the Lulu and not even, or maybe I sell the Samara and
and by the Lulu,
and yeah, and now I have three
Gadgeting.
gadgeting. But then I saw a sword and chat or vest,
Yeah.
and then I thought, oh, like maybe this is an AD angle.
Yeah. I actually think that's a pretty interesting spot here because
Yeah.
you could do like one of three things, I guess. You could sell Zoe for these two, you could sell Senna for these two, or you could sell neither. Keeping Zoe, Zoe Poppy allows you to play around Gadgeting. Keeping the Senna allows you to play around like a early AD carry. And it is a little bit easier to play or think AD at least because you have Sword Chain. So I think it is fine.
Okay.
Because it's just more likely that you play around like an AD item with the sword, I guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like completely like I wouldn't say it's bad to sell Senna and keep the Lulu, Galio, and stuff like that, and then just play around Gatchatine because the sword can be anything. It just be like Gunblade and you play AP. It could be Giant Slayer. It could be Shojin, whatever. Um, but I feel like in general, or I feel like it's also fine to keep the Senna.
Okay, so this wasn't like bad, right?
No, no,
The
I think it
okay.
was fine. Uh, okay. Mm, okay. Yeah, with this bow for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, pretty easy to play around AD. Yeah, I think I would have kept the same units. Oh, okay. All right. So this is an interesting spot. So it's 3-2-2. So we could look at our board here and then we could see the options 3-2-2. What are you thinking when you like see these augments?
I was hoping to get Senna,
Mm-hmm.
um, or I was hoping to get like a like a threat. I was hoping, honestly, I was just hoping to get to get Senna, augment, and then if anything a threat. But then I got to I think Siver and I saw endless pizza, and then I don't know, I felt scared that I was gonna roll because I'm traumatized of using all four
Mm-hmm.
and not getting like the Senna
Right.
or like what I want. So I was like, I see a Siver and I saw endless pizza, so I think I ended up grabbing because it was also another sure shot.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So like that
Okay.
was what I was thinking, and I that was like my thought process.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that I probably wouldn't really actively look for Senna super hard. I
Uh
think
huh.
if you get it, you might consider taking it. It's just the thing is, the Senna augments aren't
Good.
super strong, and also neither
Mhm.
is Endless Pizza. At the
Right.
moment, like in the current like state of balance, Endless Pizza and the Senna augments aren't extremely strong. But so I would just say that I wouldn't be like super like looking for it, but if it does show up, then you might consider just taking it just because you already have the Senna, you have the AD items, and Sivir would be two sure shot, Senna would be Senna pair, so it's not bad. But yeah, so Endless Pizza is just not super strong, and neither is either of the Senna augments. So I think what I'd be actually looking for is like Endless Pizza. Not sorry. Delivery tips, which is the
The gold.
yeah, it's the what's it called?
Mm.
The silver augment that gives you gold
So
on casts. Yeah.
would you have said like I should have still tried that? I think I have one more reroll left. Do you think I should have
Um
clicked it and figure out what the? I think that's what happened if I
Okay.
remember.
Yeah, we'll take a. I would just say that's what I'd be paying attention for, and it's like if I saw
Uh-huh.
delivery tips, it's just an insta click.
Oh,
But that
okay,
doesn't
got it.
mean like I'm going to like use every reel until I hit. Okay, so I would not take any of these. I think
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
yeah,
Like you're saying like if I see the delivery tips, take it
yeah,
because that's like that generate gold. I can push for levels
yeah,
or do whatever.
yeah,
Um, but then if I don't get it, then start to think something else.
yeah. It's
Got it.
really good to know what you're looking for before you start looking. So,
Got it.
especially on 3-1 and 4-1, you should be thinking around what augments do you want? So like let's say you have like a Vayne pair and you have like a Shojin and a sword. You could be thinking, okay, I want spread shot here. And if you
Yeah.
want spread shot here, you either need Anima Squad in, you need Duelist in, or you need Recon in. So now you might put in those traits that you didn't have yet, and you might put them in on 3-1 so that you can get a chance at spread shot. And then
You know
maybe you could
what?
also be thinking, I don't want to have too many traits because I don't want the chances of me getting spread shot to be lower. So maybe you have Defender in, or we'll just say Brawler. Maybe you have Brawler in. Instead of playing two Brawler, you play like a Rammus frontline and you take out Brawler. So now you can't, if it's a three cost your augment, you can't get the odds for Jax and Riven and stuff like that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm about to write that down because you know what?
Mhm.
I need to start thinking
Yeah.
like you said, like what I need, like advance.
Yeah.
Because it's like I think I'm doing too much after what I have
Uh-huh.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think that's a lot of TFT is there's so much to think about, But the way to keep your thought process the cleanest and the way to be the fastest you can be is by making the decisions like before you have to make them, if that makes sense. So it's not TFT is not a game where you're making like one decision every 10 seconds or something like that. It's you make a decision or you make a few decisions and then you might have a few minutes break or not a few minutes, but like a minute break where the game's easy. You just like click on your pairs, you scout a little bit and everything. But then you have like the moments where, you're rolling for hero augments, you're doing a 30 gold roll down and stuff like that. And those are the points where you have to make so many decisions in such a small time frame. So being able to, let's say, like think about all the augments that you want on 3-1 instead of kind of going in blind on 3-2 and being like, oh shit, it's a hero augment. And then now you're thinking, oh shit, what do I even want? Is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Whereas if you did that on 3-1 or 2-7, like let's say during Krugs, instead of just like kind of sitting there, you're actively thinking, okay, if this is a hero augment and it's a 2 cost, I would like this, this, and this. If it's a 3 cost, I would want this, this, and this. And
Okay,
if you
okay.
just have that in your head, it makes once the augment comes, whether that be hero augment or regular augment, when the augment does come, you'll be a lot more ready for it. You'll take much less time. You're much less likely to pick the wrong thing. Just like so, I just say prepping in advance as often as you can. But
Mm-hmm.
it does take more effort and it involves being a lot more locked in and focused into the game to be able to do it effectively.
Yeah. And I know like a lot of times, sometimes I have that habit that I'm trying to cut because I'm like, okay, like if I want to like start, like I gotta play when I'm more like 100%, like you said, like lock in.
Mm,
Like when I'm locked in, like I swear I'd be climbing. Like there'd be times like I'm like I got the groove, I'm
mm.
locked in, and then when I play, sometimes I'm not locked in, and I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. Sometimes, yeah, it's easy to like lose your focus, especially when it's a game where you could kind of just chill a lot. So, if I'm looking at these augments, I wouldn't take any of these. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
spot where you could take channeled ferromancy, but it is pretty difficult. Um, hmm, yeah, I don't really like any of these
Yeah.
either. Okay, endless pizza. So we have
Oh,
two
I
rolls
had
left,
two
and
more
then
left. Okay.
yeah. Honestly, I just because you have the Senna already, I actually think taking this endless pizza is fine. Like we have the Senna, we have sword, bow, chain. We probably don't slam any of these items, but like these items can be, Last Whisper, IE, Last Whisper, Gunblade, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't mind it, but I will say that it's actually not that great. There is a chance where you can roll and maybe you find something better, but I think if I was in this spot, I would actually also take it.
Okay.
But I'm not
It's
closed
just
off
a
by the
little
fact that
low
like,
roll.
yeah, I think it's a little bit low roll, but it's like, let's say that this is like a 5 out of 10 or like a 6 out of 10.
It's
Maybe it's
like average, like
yeah, honestly it's like a 5 out of 10.
yeah,
Let's say
that's what
this
I
is
thought
yeah.
too. And then I was like, do I just take the and one or do I just keep like
Mm,
looking? And I took the
yeah.
and one.
Honestly, maybe okay, like think about it a bit more. Maybe
Oh,
there's you
I
could just
forgot to
roll more
mention. So my
better
thing
stuff.
was, I was also thinking about going this, and then like, which I thought about after I saw the Wukong, but I thought about taking endless pizza, and then I go mech carry. I ended up not going it, but I thought about it, taking endless pizza and then going mech, set and sure shot, and then I've seen it where like with endless pizza, the mech just does not die if you have like the items for it. But I don't think I got the items for it, and then I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna go a different type of
Mm.
board.
Yeah, I think the strongest way to play Endless Pizza is around mech, but
Yeah,
you can't always do that. Um,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think it probably is correct to keep rolling here, just because you can hit better stuff. I'm just not a big fan of endless pizza. It's just not very strong right now. And if you take it now, sure it's like safe and like it's good. It's like okay, but I'm just not a big fan of it. Honestly, I'd probably roll and just try to hit something better. Like either of the Vi augments would be good here.
Yeah. See,
Uh,
that's what I was thinking. Like I was like, man, like I was like, did I like should I
mhm,
have and then like maybe I was thinking like maybe if I would have looked at the endless pizza. Sometimes like I don't look I know like some people like to look at the stats a lot of
mhm,
like the augments and I
mhm.
don't and I thought like because like you said, like you told me, like, oh, endless pizza is not that good, and
Yeah,
like I knew it wasn't that good, but like maybe if I would have looked at the stats and see
yeah,
like oh, like it's not really that good, then it
yeah.
would have been better,
Yeah, I
or I
mean,
don't know.
it's like a combination, honestly. Like, I do look at stats, but I've also taken Endless Pizza a fair number of times on this patch, and I'd say
Yeah,
both in stats and both like kind of just feeling it, it just does not feel very good.
they nerfed it, right?
Yeah,
They
they
did.
nerfed it and they
Yeah.
nerfed Sure Shot, so it's like the nerf on Endless Pizza and the nerf on Sure Shot just makes it so it's like pretty underwhelming.
So do you think? So I'm just looking at this now. Do you think at any point it was like a mirror image LeBlanc?
Uh, no.
No?
I feel
Okay.
like you
Am I
if you're
cooking up
playing
something
yeah
bad?
that may be I mean at least like from this spot I don't see this being a blank game. I think if you knew your admin and it's something you want to play around, maybe you could take it, but I don't really see this being that great. I mean, on 2-1, I guess it's okay because an extra unit on 2-1, it's like kind of having like woodland charm.
Yeah.
But just like from your items, like these items and this board state with these units don't like suggest to me like oh LeBlanc fits into this board like really great. So
Okay, okay.
yeah. To
All
be like
right.
super accurate with like knowing when to roll versus when to kind of settle, it's also good to know like what else you could hit. Because if you're just rolling thinking like, oh, I could hit something better, but there's actually like nothing better, or
Nothing
there's like
better.
a very, very small amount of things that are better, then you're just like kind of taking a risk for no reason, like
Yeah.
high risk, low reward type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just on the side, I was just looking at some other stats. But yeah, I think a lot of these would have been pretty good. Like either of the Draven augments, I think committing to
Mm.
Draven is like okay from your spot. Even like you have a bow, you have a sword. It's not the worst thing if you're uncontested. It wouldn't
And
be
I have the
terrible.
two sets too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not the sets, Wukong.
Yeah, Wukong. Yeah, so you have that. The either like of the Rammus augments are like okay, or like especially Spec Shell. It's a lot of tempo. The Vi augments are pretty good. Cleansing safeguards really good. Spread shots really good from your spot. Um, Adaptive, which is the Camille one. So I think there actually
Okay,
are a
so
fair amount of things that would have been okay. Yeah, what were you
okay,
saying?
so since you said adapted, so okay. If we go back, I actually
Oops.
think I had that option.
No, I think you
Uh,
had
oh, it was retribution,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I
Okay,
don't
never
think that
mind, never
one
mind.
works
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, never. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, never mind, never mind.
okay, yeah.
Okay, my bad.
So that being said, I think our spot's actually pretty good. Hitting Galio 2 makes it so playing two civilians pretty easy. Okay. I don't think I agree with this part.
You think I stay three and just
Yeah.
okay?
So the thing is, it's, I mean, you're leveling here, and like you kind of want to level because I'd have to think about it a bit more. The thing is, you're selling a Wukong pair and a Poppy, which it could
Hmm.
be something that you play eventually. Like your level four
Yeah.
and five could be like Wukong 2 Poppy or something like that. And you're selling the Wukong pair, and you're also leveling for like a dead Fiora who doesn't like synergize very well. I mean, it is another extra unit. And from the spot, like Sivir, Senna, Galio too, you do want to be like winning and everything. But I feel like what you had to sell to level
Wasn't
is,
good.
yeah, it's just like
Hmm.
costs too much. If anything, I'd probably say you sell like the
What if
Fiora, and you if you were to level, I'd probably say like sell the Fiora and then just level for either Blitz or
connection?
Wukong.
Oh, okay.
Um, just because I do value keeping like the Wukong pair and everything. Especially if you do want to angle into mech. So if you want to play into set, then just having the Wukong 2 for like the whole game would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't really like selling the Wukong pair to level. Okay, I'd itemize that. You can put like chain on Galio. It's fine.
I think I do ended up doing maybe not this round. I think I do it the next round. I
Yeah, it's
think because
fine.
I
If you know you win, sometimes you get greed not making items yet. Okay, so repair, that's pretty good. Alistar is stronger for now. My arch enemy.
he was in my stream. He came in. He said he was gonna grief me and
Oh.
hold my stuff in my chat on Twitch.
Okay. Okay. Here is another option. It's like, you can level. So you're probably playing this board. Okay. So here's, oh yeah, it looks like you're considering it. Maybe you just do it right now. Here's where, you can level. You could choose to level for Fiora, and your board does get a pretty decent amount stronger. Or you can make 10. So those are like the two most common options. Another option is you could like pre-level, so pump XP one time but not actually level. So you got a level 5 shop on 2-5 instead of a level 4 shop. So here I think is where, so wait, we just level, right? Okay, yeah. I'd say, at least me personally, I would be a lot more cautious with this because in the early game, especially, your econ means a lot. Every
Yeah.
time you can make 10 or 20 a round earlier than, like, if you could make 10 or 20 one round early or something like that, or you make 10 on stage one and stuff like that, things like that are very impactful just because of how econ snowballs in this game, where it's like whoever is rich will become the richest and whoever's like poor will like stay poor, at least in the short term and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would be more cautious with this level. It's not something that I'm a big fan of doing super often. I think at the very least, you have to one, be sure that you're getting a lot stronger by doing it, and I do think you are. I do think getting another unit, especially powered by Endless Pizza, getting Oxforce on your front line is really good. And this does make your board a bit stronger, or a decent bit stronger actually. I I'm not saying that it was like incorrect here. I'm just saying I would at least at the very minimum like scout first, so that
Hmm.
you're not like leveling for no reason. Maybe these guys' boards are like super
Yeah.
super weak,
I
and
just
this board is like without this Fiora is already strong enough. Um,
yeah. I
yeah,
look while we're watching it, right when I leveled, I was like, damn, I leveled without scouting.
yeah.
I
I
just
mean,
I think about that to
yeah.
myself. Like
I mean the round's about to start, so like it looks like maybe ran out of time or something. But the thing is like just you just have to know the effects of doing this level. So it's what happens here is you could have made 10 here if you didn't level. Um you could have made 10 if you didn't level, or you could have like pre-leveled, and you spent an extra 4 XP to get to level 5 compared to, or 4 gold compared to if you leveled on 2.5. So in some
Mm,
ways you're like kind of down 4 gold that you could have been, well, at least for the next few rounds. Like once you get to level 6, then like the 4 gold that you spent, it like also goes into going into level 6 early. But in the very short term, you're down the 4 gold, and the 4 gold could have been the difference between you making 10. It could have been the difference between you making 20. So the 4 gold is actually a little bit more than 4 gold. So you have to be able to weigh that with the pros of going to level 5 on 2-3, and in a lot of cases, going to level 5 on 2-3 actually is good. Or you could go level 5 and you still have 10 gold if you had like an econ opener or something like that.
yeah.
So, it's just it's just about knowing what you're doing, and then knowing the pros and cons of actually doing it, and that'll allow you to make like more accurate decisions going forward instead of like kind of what's the word, like autopilot leveling in
Yeah.
certain spots,
Uh,
or autopilot sitting in certain spots where you should be leveling or rolling. Just knowing like what you're gaining and what you're losing by doing decisions lets you make better decisions going forward.
Speaking of the autopilot level, I feel like I don't know because sometimes, right? Sometimes I be thinking maybe I'm so strong I don't have to level on 3-2 to 6.
Yeah.
And
Uh
then I just stack the entrance and maybe I level the next turn or something.
yeah.
Or or something like that. And like is that ever an option? Like
Yeah.
not leveling on 3-2-6
Okay,
if
I
you
will
feel like
say
you're strong enough?
okay, I
Or
will
let's say
say
like
yeah, yeah. Go, keep going.
or let's say like even if you level, you feel like you're weak. So maybe you just don't level and you continue the loss streak and then just or I don't know, maybe you lose too much HP that way.
Yeah. I will say I think 3-2 actually is a good example. I would say a lot of people autopilot 6 on 3-2 very
Yep.
commonly, because it's just such a common thing to do, and it's a common thing to do, and on top of that, in most cases it's actually correct to level to 6 on 3-2, but I wouldn't say in every case it's correct. So before you
Yeah.
said like you're so strong that you don't have to level to 6, I would probably like, if you're on like a win streak or something, if you're on any kind of win streak, like 2-3 plus win streak, I'd probably say it's like always correct to level to 6 on 3-2, just because
Uh-huh.
the odds of you winning every fight on level 5 compared to most of the lobby that's going to be level 6, I would say is pretty unlikely. But in the other case, like let's say you're lost streaking, or let's say your econ is not very good. I think this is a common example. So like let's say you're like 30 something gold, right? You're 35 gold,
Mm-hmm.
and your board is not super great. And if you level for a very small upgrade. So like you level for, I don't know, a Blitz 1 for your Vi 1. So now you have Blitz 1, Vi 1 frontline or something like that. Uh
Mm-hmm.
Something like that actually isn't a
Level.
meaningful level up. And let's say you're like 38 gold or something, and you spend like 16 gold to do that. Um
Exactly.
So now you're, yeah,
Like
so now you're like 22 gold or something like that. You're like in the 20s, or maybe you were 40 gold and now you're in the 20s. And so now your econ is a lot worse. Your board is barely stronger. You maybe kill one extra unit, maybe you don't even kill any extra units. You're still losing.
exact
So now it's like your econ is worse. Your econ is worse, your board isn't better, your HP isn't better. And I would say those are the cases where it's like, okay, instead of just leveling to 6 because it feels like what you're supposed to do, maybe you just don't level until like 3-5, and then you go 6 on 3-5, and maybe that's when you roll and you have a little bit more. And if you're especially if you're on like a 4, 5, 6 loss streak already by that point, uh
Might as well keep it.
yeah, I mean, if you're on like a 6 loss streak there, if you're on like a 6 loss streak going into 3-2, it depends on your HP and like what you're playing for. Um, like if you're very, very low, you might have to just consider doing it even if you don't want to. But if you're not that low, maybe you could consider keep losing. It also depends on like if you're gonna like level and roll, which is a common thing. It's like if you level and roll, how long will it take until you get a board that you're happy with? So if you have a board and your units suck or you have 0 pairs, then you likely have to roll like 20 plus gold before you actually get into a good board state. So maybe you think
Speaking,
like it's not worth to level and roll then. But maybe if your board sucks, but you have like Annie pair, Poppy pair, Lulu pair, and whatever. Maybe you just send it and you roll a few times and you get some upgrades.
yeah. Speaking of that, when we get to like the 3 stage, I feel like what you just explained is exactly how this game was, and I felt like I went 6 and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna roll for some upgrades. I didn't really hit that much upgrades. So I was like, um then I hit like an extra Senna. Like you'll see, like, and then I don't know, like it was so many options that like I
Uh-huh.
honestly got a little bit confused.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So
So
uh,
we did win this, which is good. I mean, yeah. So like, another thing is, just to quickly touch on it before we keep going. I think like one of the worst feelings is like leveling to 5 here and then like losing.
yes,
So, that's also
yes.
something you never really want to happen because we just went over how much you're investing just to go level 5. And if you do all that just to lose, you have no streak. You spent so much gold, your spot is just infinitely worse compared
Yeah,
to if you didn't
essentially
level there. Okay, so we're going for the glove, unlucky.
I think it's so bad that I don't even know if it's a good mindset, but I think if I every time I level to 5 on 2, 2, 3 and I end up losing, I'm always playing for a third or a fourth.
Oh, I mean, you're. I don't know if it's like that concrete, but your spot is just definitely it's definitely just worse. Uh, your game's not like over if it happens, but your spot's definitely like way worse. But thankfully you won, so it's fine. Um, okay, I think this is fine. I would just make the bramble. I guess you don't have to here. This guy.
Yeah, I thought about
Actually,
it
wait.
too.
Multi-shot, LeBlanc 2. I don't know where this LeBlanc 2 even came from. I don't even know if he wants this LeBlanc 2, but he has it. Okay. So I guess you don't have to here. I think that's good. If you do this often, I think that's very good, where you don't make items if you win anyway.
Hmm.
There is like potential downside where it's like if you don't make items, even if you win anyway, maybe it's like a 2 unit win versus like a 4 unit win. And that can, extra damage inflicted on who you play against can matter. But it could be like maybe you get dropped a belt here and you would rather make Sunfire than Bramble. So
Yeah.
keeping your options open like that is nice. Okay, so now we slam it against this guy. Okay, this guy looks pretty strong.
I
Um,
lost this, sadly.
oh really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, I guess he's just too strong.
It's the
Uh,
Yasuo 2 with Warmogs thing is so
yeah,
tanky.
yeah. I do like your decisions though. I think not making the items and then making it versus that guy who is like probably the strongest in your lobby at the time.
Yeah.
when the bramble could make a difference. I think it was all good.
So back there,
Oh wow.
do I also asked like, do you think it was ever the right idea to sell the silver pair to make 20, or do you think I keep the silver pair? Because I didn't win, so I was 19.
Oh, I would definitely keep the silver pair.
Okay. Cause like, I've seen like I would say like from people that like I perceive, like I watch a lot of like TFT stream and sometimes I see them sell the pair,
Mhm.
sometimes I see them not.
Yeah,
And
I
I just
think that's also it's a very like complicated question where sometimes it is correct, sometimes it's not. I just think in this,
in this
it's too hard
case it was
to, yeah, it's too hard to like say all the reasons like why you would or what wouldn't. Like you'd have to just kind of look at each spot and be like, okay, in this case, it's good to sell the pair. In this case, like even if it costs you a lot of gold, it's not good. I would just say in this case, it's not worth it to sell the pair. Like, okay, for example, let's say this exact same spot happened, but instead of Civ repair, it was Fiora repair. I would sell the Fiora.
Y- Got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bec
Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. Because
Uh,
it doesn't really matter all that much.
yeah. Like this Fiora is only on your board because like I guess you know she's Oxforce, so like whatever. But like you don't actually care that this Fiora is on your board. This Fiora could literally be any unit. This Fiora could be a Ramus. This Fiora could be who knows, whatever.
Oh, gaff, like whatever.
Yeah, this Fiora could be whatever. So that's something that you could take into consideration. Yeah, but like this server is always going to be on your board, and getting her 2 star can actually make a pretty big difference. And like if you get Silver 2, you're probably keeping Silver 2 for like the entire game. So getting that
Okay,
online
okay.
early would be good. But yeah, so we get dropped pretty good items, like actually really good items. Um, I would just make yeah, okay, nice. Okay. Uh, if you didn't have this Fiora pair, I would like sell the Fiora to play Cho, but it is Fiora pair, so I agree with this.
Oh,
Radiant or not
even
Radiant?
if it was just, oh, so you would do that even if it was like just single Fiora and say like, fuck Ox Force, just play the Cho'Gath?
Um, actually, let me think about it a bit more. Uh, okay, actually, I think it's probably close. At first, I was like, okay, it's you know this Cho'Gath's better, but maybe Oxford's actually better. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's not a good example. Um, okay, I mean this is a little unlucky. Actually, we do win anyway. If we lose, okay, we win anyway. Because but if we lost, this is actually the biggest Gadgetzan Warmog diff. But it's fine.
Okay, this is where I re-roll.
Oh, I think this is like a 200% a reroll. I don't know what
Okay,
these are.
okay. So it was never Ox Force crash.
Oh, no. I think never. No.
Okay, because I thought about it for a second. Ox Force, sure shot, Aphelios carry. I thought about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. That is true, but we're not getting Aphelios until like 20
Into a
minutes from
million
now.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't think about that. But yeah. I it's pretty unlikely that you got Sunfire board. I mean like these are just like all pretty untakeable. Like
Dude, can
Axiom
how can they offer you Sunfire board when you have a
That's a good point.
Sunfire?
Yeah, they should that actually shouldn't be a thing. You're actually completely right. If you have Sunfire or a Morello on your
They
board,
should not offer it to you.
yeah, that's actually a really good point.
I'm starting to look at this game the more we go over, and I'm like, man, I just got low rolled.
I mean, you didn't low roll that. I mean that augment selection was definitely a low roll.
But
Um,
this one's a little bit better. I want to know which one you would choose from this.
okay. I would probably take Ascension.
Okay, cool. Me
Um,
too.
okay, so you could think Ascension or Second Wind. But the thing
Yeah.
is Second Wind, yeah, so it's never Mascot. I think Mascot and then the first three were all like you don't even look at.
Yeah.
Um, but Second Wind is usually good. The thing is you already have like Endless Pizza, so it could be the value kind of gets a lot lower because I think Endless Pizza's like after 8 seconds you get a heal and everything, and then 2 seconds later Second Wind would proc, so it wouldn't be as effective.
Yep.
And like you already have like the bit of healing that you might need. Uh, but Ascension and Endless Pizza actually synergize very well together because Endless Pizza kind of allows the fights to go longer. Ascension benefits you if the fights go long, and then Sure Shots also are the same thing, where the longer the fights go and the more stable the fight is with a long fight, the better that they perform. So
Oh.
all of that put together, Ascension just becomes a pretty strong argument with Endless Pizza.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I thought exactly what you said. I pretty much thought too, but I did for a second think of second win was the choice. 'Cause I
Hmm.
know like that can be a pretty safe like um if you don't really have any good
Oh yeah,
augments to choose.
yeah, pretty much always. Second Wind Exiles
Yeah.
are like you could just take them sometimes, even if like without thinking. Okay, so here you have the option to level or sit. Um, I would level here. I think I would level, and I'd probably just play. I think second Fiora might actually be your strongest board. What could be arguably better might be a Draven. I actually don't think it's better, but you could argue that it could be better. But the thing is, if you level here, you'll be 31 gold, and then if you buy the Draven, you'll be 29 gold. So if you don't win, then you won't be able to make 30 without selling this Fiora. So I'd probably just play double Fiora here.
Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Um
What are your thoughts? Like, are you thinking like maybe level and roll or something?
yeah, and I thought I thought it would be like, see, my thought here was level and try to at least find one of the pairs,
Hmm.
and then like play like a decent like just another unit. But you were saying like like just keep the 30 streak, just play the second. And then in
Hmm.
the okay, I see what you're saying because I actually think I started not having that much gold to roll later, and
Yeah.
I think because I rolled and I tried to find pairs, and I think I don't even hit if I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
And I think I find one more Senna, and I just played another Senna for more damage.
Okay. I think that's okay. So the thing is, rolling here, I don't think it's very efficient. Just because, so you have two
Mm,
pairs, but the thing
mm-hmm.
is, for one, they're not super impactful pairs. Like the server two is really nice, but it's not gonna always like make the big difference. I think the only pair that would be extremely impactful here is if you had Senna pair, because she's also carrying your items.
Yeah,
That being said, it's still, upgrades are still upgrades, so getting a server 2 or a Fury 2 would be nice. But the thing is, you are looking for these two units, and again, like they're not super impactful, and then also it's only two units. So rolling
yeah,
for only two different things is usually almost always inefficient. Usually if you do roll, you want to be looking for at least three things. I'd say at the minimum three. Um,
yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be pairs. So, like, let's say you have the Sivir pair. Let's say you have Sivir pair, Fiora pair, and no Senna or something like that, or like
Mm-hmm.
Sivir pair, Fiora pair, Galio pair, and no Senna. So you're looking for these three pairs, but you're also looking for one Senna. because all any of those four different things would spike your board a lot. So if you roll
Yeah.
and if hitting any of those four things make your board instantly better. So in that's a case where rolling has a lot more value. But the thing is here, if we level and we roll, we're looking for these two units, which is not very many. And besides that, nothing makes our board much better when it comes to things that are like realistic to hit. So like
Yeah.
maybe you could hit a Samira, sure, but like that's not likely. Um, but other than that, I can't really think of anything that you're really looking for. Like maybe a Remus or Cho'Gath can also work. But when you're in these spots where it's like, oh, it's not very easy for me to spike my board. Like two Sennas obviously would make your board a lot better too. But the thing is, when it's not like very quick and like you're not looking for 4+ units, you're only looking for like I guess like two ish at the
Ew.
moment. When you're not looking for many units and you don't have very many outs, it usually turns into on average you usually have to spend a lot more gold, and you're not really in an economic state to be able to spend a lot of gold, and you're not on a streak that motivates you to also spend a lot of gold.
Yeah.
So all those things combined, it's like if you do level here or level and roll, you're basically putting your game.
It's like what you said, high risk for like
Yeah,
low
yeah, yeah,
reward
yeah. So like the risk would be
or
um you
something
know
like that.
draining your econ really hard while not even spiking,
That
and
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
that would be like the low reward, but we'll see what
And
happens.
I just gotta think about all that in the fucking future.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, I mean, as I say it, we do hit
So
Samir and
okay, so
Set. So
maybe I should. Okay, this is where I think I got greedy. I
okay.
think I sell the Samara or not the Samara. I sell the Senna, put the items on Samara, and I just stop rolling. Play the extra Fiora. Right, board good.
Yeah, I
I
think that's
think I
actually
still
that sounds
look for
fine.
the Sivir, and I think
Yeah.
that's where I messed up.
Yeah, okay. I think okay, so let me think here. You can yeah, so I think selling the Senna is like fine. Selling the Senna, just putting the items on Samira. I would buy the set because now you have a mech option.
Hmm.
Um your board actually might just be Senna, or not Senna, Samira, Sivir, Galio, Alistar, and then maybe you could run Set Poppy for like two defender and just
Oh,
ditch the Fiora. And yeah, I think that's like a decent board to sit at. You'd still be at 20 gold. Could be worse. You only rolled once, so and like this is like a pretty good roll. Um, but yeah, I definitely would say this is probably fine to sit on now. Uh, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So this is definitely like some overrolling. And
yeah.
even if we do roll here, I would pick up like at least like pick
Ribbon.
up the Rello Riven because maybe you can use them as like
Go for
defender.
defenders. Yeah.
But yeah, so like yeah, we're just like rolling a lot here, and okay, I mean we hit okay, yeah. Even after we hit the Fiora, we still like roll once. So yeah, I feel like this is
Yeah.
definitely
Overall,
a lot of overrolling. Yeah, when you roll, it does take
that's my
a
habit.
yeah, it takes a lot of practice and like because there's a lot of things that you have to think about. You have to think about like what you're rolling for, is it worth to roll and everything. And it's just like so many questions and it's hard to answer them all accurately in the short amount of time that you're given. So that's where the practice comes in, where you do get a little bit more efficient in your thought processes and you're not panic rolling or not rolling when you need to and stuff like that. That'll just come with time, but now that like we're
Also,
watching it over, it's
why
like
did I roll more, bro?
yeah, yeah. Now yeah, it's a lot easier to see it when you watch it back. But yeah, it's definitely overall. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. That's the worst part. So we roll all the gold and then we lose.
Yeah.
So now our spot is just like not very good. Yeah. So we're just not gonna have. Okay, yeah. So we even saw the set. I I actually don't even think that's that bad. I mean. the thing you don't want to sell the set because you actually want to play this set. You want to play like mech set with these items. This is Endless Pizza, which is good with mech. This is Bramble Sunfire, which is good with mech. And we have the set, so we want to keep it. But the thing is, we rolled so much that if we just stay at like 10 gold, we'd be at 16 gold, which is basically 10 gold. If we're staying at 10 gold, no streak because we just lost on 3-3, like it's hard to even go level 7 at that point. So
Yeah.
um you're kind of in a spot where I guess you had to sell the set. But yeah. Okay. Like even the Senna you want to buy, but I guess we just can't right now. Okay, so we're still looking for this last whisper. I guess we don't get it. Yeah, we don't get it. So we have these open items. We already have Bramble Sunfire, so I'd just take the belt. It's on a 4 cost. Okay, that's good. Um, okay, yeah, I think that's better. It's just cheaper option. We're trying to rebuild our econ.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, don't worry
That's
about
why
it.
my fucking 3 spot was so hard because I made it hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, so we get the server 2. And maybe we could get a 3-win streak. If we do, then I think if we have a 3-win streak here, the spot is like salvageable. Our HP is good. We can maybe do like a small 4-1 roll down and then go from there. Another thing is sure shots. It's like kind of like a high roll comp. It's definitely more of a high roll comp now than it used to be just because you're not really very stable unless you have solid front line, good backline or like good backline damage and like Samira too and stuff like that, or good backline items, I mean. So like unless you have like good Samira items, you have upgraded frontline, and then you have like upgraded Samira too and stuff like that. Usually this board is not very stable going into like mid game and late game
Mm-hmm.
compared to what it used to be. So going like relating that back to this, like it's hard to play this board and this comp on like low econ, which is why it's like thought of as like a high roll board. You need to have a lot of money. You need to have really good items. You need to be healthy. Um, or you just like usually you want to like roll on 8 on this comp, but it's hard to roll on 8 if you're like losing really hard because then you have to like
Yeah.
roll earlier and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, just because like we're 30 gold on 3-6 and we're level 6, so it's like hard to get to like that point where we're comfortably rolling on 8. Which is usually why like this comp is like played with underground a lot. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to play this kind of stuff often without underground. Okay. Alright, so here honestly I think even just yeah, I'd say this is even fine. Wormogs, okay, yeah. I think that's all fine. And now we can sit. Honestly, our spot is not too bad. We could maybe level on 4-5 potentially. Yeah.
So
So
I think this is the prismatic
okay.
part.
Yeah. I will say yeah, our spot actually doesn't look as bad as it could have. We like okay, nice. And we're even on a 4-win streak here. But if we lost any of those rounds after 3-2 and we were on like no streak going into Wolves, I think the spot would have been like really bad. Okay. Um, okay. What are you thinking here?
Um, what I was thinking then or now? Well, I'm still thinking the same. I took Windfall because I think the other two just weren't good in my spot. I think Golden Egg, I'm not strong enough. Like, it's pretty much I'll be down in Prismatic because I'll just be
Hmm.
dead.
Hmm.
Um, Oct fourth. I felt like if I didn't took it before, I essentially still feel like I wouldn't take it now. And then Windfall. Um, I mean the biggest things I saw it and I was like, oh, I over level. I didn't hit. I'm down in gold. This is now my gold
Yeah.
to catch me back up.
Hmm.
So that was kind of what I was thinking.
Okay. I actually think both of these options are both actually takeable and they're both fine. Um, it is true
Oh,
that
because I have
yeah,
enough HP.
yeah. So
Mm,
that's what I'm getting to. It is true that you're down to prismatic, but you actually are 85 HP and your board is somewhat stable. You actually, despite not having a Lost Whisper, you've actually high rolled items a pretty decent amount just because you
for
have
my tank.
yeah, you have Sunfire, Warmugs, Scramble.
Uh-huh.
So, and you have Sentient Endless Pizza. So all of those things synergize really, really well. And even if you don't win, you'll probably at least kill a good amount of units. So my game plan from this
Damn.
spot would have actually been Golden Egg, sack 2 rounds. So you don't do anything on 4-2 and 4-3. You just econ up. That would leave you with like, I'm pretty sure if you don't roll at all, that would leave you with like 30 plus gold ish, 30-ish gold to roll on 4-5, and then you could try to stabilize and make a board from there. And you'll be level 8. You can roll for some mirror, you could roll for some upgrades. And I really doubt that you would just like die before you hatch this egg, especially from 85 HP. And it's not like you're 0 gold or anything. You could actually go level 8 here. So I actually think golden egg is pretty good here.
Damn. You know what? I'm gonna say I agree.
Yeah.
I yo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
egg
didn't even look at my health. Like I was just
uh
thinking like, oh, like my board state is bad. I need to get
yeah.
better. But it's like it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like you are on a streak. I'd say like your streak is like kind of deceiving. Like you're on a streak, but I do agree your board is not very good.
Oh,
Um,
one
but
thing I
yeah.
one thing I didn't mention, I was like, I think a few rounds before that, I saw a few people playing Underground. I mean, they ended up like 90, like, I don't even think going top four, and they were on their like 4 and 5 cash out. So I think
Uh,
I assumed that like everyone was gonna get strong, like really strong this turn with the prismatic. So I think that's why I thought. But like
mhm.
even then, I think I would have been fine. I don't
Yeah.
think I would have died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're so healthy and your board's like not that bad. I'd
yeah,
say if you were 50, if you were like 50-ish or lower, that's definitely a spot where it's like, okay, it might be a little awkward taking this egg. Um, but I would say like even like 65 HP and higher and stuff like that, 60, 65 HP, and like relatively decent board, Golden Egg is a pretty strong option.
yeah.
Um,
And it's strong. I remember picking it once, and I got two fawn. That's two
yeah,
prismatics in
yeah.
one.
Yeah. It is pretty good. If you could hatch it in like any decent spot, you're usually
It's
like
like an
top
instant
two, top
win.
three. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Windfall.
Okay.
And then going back to the other option, I also think Windfall is really good. So, right in this like frame, you're like level 750 gold. If you take this plus 45 now, this basically it kind of basically says like go level 8 for free. So if you click on this, you'd basically like level 850 gold. In that gold, you can, replace your whole board. You could get the set 2, you could get Samira 2, and you could just have a lot of plain board strength in units going forward. And like I said before, like in this comp, you want to be rolling on level 8 because you want the Samira 2, you want Aphelios, you want Fiddlesticks, you want Urgot. In
Mm-hmm.
this specific case, you actually want like mech, so you want set. Um,
Yep.
you want like all of these like 4 cost, 5 cost units, which is why you want to roll on level 8. But it's hard to get to level 8 with a lot of money. But this kind of gives you that path. So I think either of these are takeable. This is like the more aggressive spike now kind of augment. And then this is more of the greedy play for win augment.
Okay. I see, I see. So I took Windfall.
Yeah. And now yeah, I would just level right now and I would roll a bit. Okay. So we sit. I guess we're sitting for 2 rounds. Okay. All right. Sure. Oh my God, this guy's double battle mage
Yeah, I
Yuumi.
said the same thing. I think I said it in chat. I said BM2, BM3. I This guy was going first.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I will say like you're scared of taking egg because like you're down in prismatic, but then
Uh-huh.
you took windfall and then you didn't
And I'm
level.
down the first
Yeah, you
back.
didn't level or roll anyway, so you're kind of also down in prismatic. Um, yeah. Okay. Uh, okay. Hmm. Okay. Honestly, those rolls were not very great.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Um. Also, I'm not a very big fan of like full tanking, like having like Leona primary tank. She's not a great primary tank. Oh, this is the underground guy. But yeah, like you'd much rather have your primary tank be like Sedge, Echo, Set, and stuff like that. Just because
So with those items, so yeah, so I should have probably put those items on Sedge instead,
yeah.
right?
Did you have a Sedge?
Yeah, I had one level one Sedge, and I had a
Yeah.
level one. Or would that have been better on Nunu? Because I also thought about that too.
No, I don't think Nunu's that great of a tank either.
Okay.
Okay, on this specific board, like right now, if you're asking me what's strongest right now, it'd actually be on Vi, just because she's
Hmm.
upgraded. And she would make really good use of the Warmogs and stuff because she's a brawler. Um, but I guess I'd probably put it on Sedge just because you have a pretty good chance of hitting Sedge too eventually. But yeah, so like Leona, she's just like not super great as a tank. Um,
Yeah, this is why I got dizzy. I'm gonna be real.
yeah,
I was
yeah. I mean, like she's okay. She's okay. She's not like the worst thing ever. Uh,
like right now in this spot, I'm like I don't even know what to do. When I
uh,
was playing, I think, right?
yeah. I mean, this spot's like it's okay. So you still want the glove, but if you don't get it, it could be worse. Um, Probably just go for sword, so you could okay. Probably just go for bow then. Okay. So now we can work towards making 3 Samira items. Okay, I agree with this. I agree with this. Okay. I would pick up the Jax because you could still potentially play mech.
Yeah,
Um,
especially since I didn't pick up
oh,
the
and then we have
jacks there,
this two
and then it
sets.
became two double sets.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what there, mana? Oh, I mean, we actually have mech right here again. I'd probably honestly, I'd probably sell the Leona and then just put the items on set and then play mech set here. Just because it's set pair, so you're likely to hit set two, and like set's just like an actual like really good tank with like all these items, endless pizza ascension. I think that would actually be pretty good. We got the Sedge. Um, oh, we get Sedge and set. Oh,
Yeah, I think I locked this.
yeah, okay.
I didn't pick up the jacks. I'm freaking trolling.
Oh yeah, oh, we didn't get the Jackson Wukong.
There was a yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wait, yeah, yeah, okay. Oh
Like
wait.
even
Oh
here,
wait.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
grab
Wait.
it.
Oh. We didn't hit these ones either. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the pretty much the only time you ever place that is in mech. So just like be on the lookout for those. If you're not playing mech, then I'm pretty sure there's actually zero cases where you place that. So they're kind of like a package,
Yeah.
like set Wukong plus one. Okay. Oh, they're back again. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I would just sell you, especially if it's the set. Uh, yeah. I'm pretty sure this board's fine. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, our spot's not great, but it's not bad either. I'd probably just sell this Y. I don't think you need more frontline than you already have. And the Vi will help you make 10. Okay, we get the Last Whisper. Oh, our spell's actually pretty good. Oh, and we get Nergot. Okay. So like we can make Last Whisper, Runans, and then play Urgot. We get Belveth too. Okay. Here you do have to make some decisions here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I would do is you're playing the set, so you have set two, we have the Sedge. Um, we have the Belveth too, but we also want to play the Urgot. I think I'd probably actually just sell this Alistar. I mean, okay, so the only reason why you actually want Alistar in Sure Shot boards is one, because he pairs really well with the Aphelios and Oxforce, and then two
And
is for
Aegis.
the Aegis. But you don't have Aegis in at all, and it's also lobby dependent, where it's like in some lobbies you really want Aegis, everyone's playing Talia, whatever, and some lobbies might just be all AD. I don't. I think this lobby is a decent mix,
Yeah.
but unless you're running like three, four Aegis, or you have an Aphelios on your board, running Alistar is actually a lot of times not very good. So I think this is actually one of the cases. Like you can't you have no space to fit Vi. So I'd actually just play this board plus Urgot over Alistar. And then I think you could even consider selling the Samira and putting the items on Belveth sometimes.
Hmm.
I actually probably wouldn't, just because eventually like Samira 2 is better than Belveth 2, but
So
you might not get the.
I ended up actually selling the Samara and putting the items on I think Belveth.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's stronger right now. Oh wait, do you not play the Samira at all? Oh, okay, so we keep the Alistar. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd probably play both from the spot.
Okay. And sell the Alistar.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then I'd probably just drop out of Alistar. Um, or actually, I mean, like in this spot, I'd actually probably pick up I'd like sell the Alistar, sell the Vi, and then I would like try to roll for Samira 2. And if we get Samira 2,
Mm.
okay. I'll say what I actually would do.
Okay.
I'd sell the Vi Alistar, get some gold, and then we have Samira pair. We'd have like 10-ish gold to roll or whatever. Five. Actually, no, we'd have five, 7 plus 8. We'd have 15 gold to roll. I'd roll for the Samira. Um, and actually, yeah, I guess I would just roll for Samira and that's it. Because the thing is, the strongest board you have right now is selling the
Samara
Samira.
2.
No, I mean like right like in this frame, the strongest board that you could play right now is like you sell the Samira, you play Samira 1, and then you move all the items to Belveth. But
Mm-hmm.
the strongest board that you can have would be the Belveth 2, the Urgot, and the Samira 2. And you have like all of those things, a lot of damage. You have, set 2, Sedge 2, and your board would actually be really, really good. Um, and the reason why I would greed in this spot is because you're actually 47 HP. So you could actually play towards having a higher cap board. But let's say you were 8 HP or something, you're 12 HP, you're like one life, maybe two lives. Then in that case, you might be thinking, okay, instead of trying to play for the strongest board I can have, you just play for the strongest board that you can make right now. But again, like your HP is like okay, and your board's not that bad. So I think you could just greed until you get Samira too.
Hmm. Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're putting down.
Okay, yeah, and then we still have Samira. Yeah. So I think like in the spot, like our cap is like a lot lower now. Like
Yeah.
we really need now. We really need like Aphelios to turn this into a board that like um oh, so we even okay, we okay, we made like an awkward swap here. So like we take out the Alistar, but then we also keep Echo in. So now we still don't have Aegis in anyway. Uh okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it just seems like you're a little bit confused with where you want to
Yeah.
take this game because we also like sell the Samiras and then we buy the Samira on the roll down again.
I I got so confused. I'm
Hmm.
like I'm trying to figure out what my strongest board can be.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, I was super confused. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what's my out? Like, and right now at this point, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to get a
Top
a
four.
top. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we do have the Aphelios, so that could be pretty good. It's probably just Aphelios over the Echo, and we play from there. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I'm pretty sure you never sell Aphelios. Like especially on these AD boards, Aphelios is like your key to, top two.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Like even though it's Aphelios one and it's hard to sell this Belveth, like I'd probably just play Silver Belveth and Aphelios. Yeah.
I think I was thinking about eventually dropping the Urgot and then putting an Aegis in with the Echo. I
Um,
think that's where my mindset was going. If I had to explain my reasoning why I sold the Aphelios,
uh-huh. I mean,
but it's wrong. I'm
mhm.
looking
Yeah,
back at
yeah,
it, it's wrong. I just
yeah,
wanted to explain myself.
yeah. That's fine. Um, okay. Wait, let me see this lobby again. Okay, so there's
Never
Yumi,
beating him.
Laser Core, Sure Shots, and then there's okay. So there actually is a fair amount of AP in the lobby. Like even the Laser Core board has a bit of magic damage, so Aegis would be
Y-
pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's why I was so stuck on keeping the Echo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like. I would like want to say like why, but I still think it probably wasn't. I should have just sold the Samara. Like it's a Samara one. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, at that point you probably just play like Silver Aphelios. Um,
yeah.
but uh yeah. I think it's also kind of hard to fit in Aegis when you're playing mech. Uh what you can do is like play like Leona over Jax, and then you could maybe play like Echo Alistar as like your side tanks and everything. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think Aegis is like pretty decent in this lobby. Okay. Okay. I mean, despite everything, we're actually still kind of strong. Probably not stronger than the Yubi guy, but okay. Maybe this guy? No. Okay.
Mm.
And we get the Aphelios back. Do we buy him? Maybe not. Okay.
No, I
Okay.
bought him.
All right. All right. Honestly, I feel this. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's probably just over Fiddle or Urgot. I feel like it might even be debatable over Beleth too. Maybe that's just wrong. Um,
You gotta fuck. I missed. I don't even know how this happened. It went on the fiddlestick.
oh wait. Oh, you're thinking like, oh, which one to put?
Yeah.
I,
So bad.
I, 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 I don't think I've ever seen that. Uh,
But I was gonna lose anyways.
yeah, honestly, Shroud against that comp is actually completely fake. Like, it doesn't even do anything.
It
Uh,
really does. I'm starting to notice that too.
yeah, Shroud against that comp, like, you delay what they do by like 1.5 seconds, and then they do the same thing anyway. Um, yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
that's true.
that's okay. Yeah, okay. So we could quickly go over the game, and some of like the important parts. Okay. Okay, so I think the first part that's like important to talk about is the hero augments. So going into like 3-1 and 4-1, it's like easy to try to figure out like what you want and everything. Something that's also you also have to think about is the 2-1 hero augment possibility. But it could be kind of difficult because it's completely random, whereas the other ones are tailored, so it's easier to like pick between. It's like, oh, do you want Samira carry or do you want Samira support?
Yeah.
But then here it's like, okay, do I want this or do I want to roll for something that's completely random?
Hmm.
What can give you better judgment of this is one, quite honestly, just like looking at stats, either during or before games, just to like know what
Yeah.
are the good 1, 2, 3 costs on 2-1, so that you're able to make decisions. Obviously, it's like not just like you click on the ones that are high stats, but it gives you better direction. So in general, it's like okay, here let me even just take a quick look at.
It lets you to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, it lets you know what you're looking for. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I need to I
mm,
no I know what you're saying, like
yeah.
I don't know, like I'm gonna be real, like I know like from like just playing, but like I don't know like off the top,
Hmm.
like I would have never thought about the Draven angle
Yeah.
like that you mentioned.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about that,
yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay.
then the other choices.
Yeah. So like for example, the Senna one, Absolution, is like not very strong. Um like Reflector Shield, which is any carry, is not good. Starcrossed is not good. The Kaisa support augment. So those are just examples of things that you probably just want to avoid. And then things that you're looking for. Here, I'll even show you what I'm looking at. Things that you're looking for is like Lux carry augments, Draven, Reverb, Camille carry, like Justice Punch, Boxing Lessons, Spike Shell. So like the Sleepy Time for sure, especially after the buffs. So these are things that you will go out of your way to like take sometimes. So it's like I mentioned the Draven one, and yeah, you have no Dravens, but you have Bow Sword, which is not bad. And if you're uncontested, it's like forcible. So I'd say that. Taking the Lux augment, no Luxes, no tears. Honestly, that's a little bit awkward. Uh,
Yeah.
these are just like neutral. You could play them if you have the spot for it. And then these are the ones where it's like if you take it, you actually need like I'm surprised Flaming Ricochet is this low. But like lower down is like you
It's like
usually want like a reason to like take it, where it's like uh, it gives you a 2 star and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, stats don't tell you everything. Like maybe people are playing it wrong, maybe whatever, whatever. But it's just something nice to keep in mind so that you know that you're not going to go out of your way to play these augments. Like if you play them, you have a good spot, you have a good angle, and you know what you're doing. To take like these augments, but like these augments, you could take them, not have any good spot for it at all, and as long as you like know have like a decent game plan of what you're trying to do, so like you have no Dravens, but you take League of Draven anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do really well
Good.
with
Yeah.
this
With
augment.
Drake.
Okay, so then going back here, it's what you how you want to kind of pick your 2-1 hero augments is you want to play around your item components and your current units. And that's why I think Endless Pizza makes sense. Uh, it's just like not super strong, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Like if this augment was slightly stronger or sure shots are slightly stronger, this would be like a very good pick. As it stands, it's just like a decent pick, just because the augment's not that good and sure shots are like whatever.
It's
Okay.
crazy how TFT is like such a snowball effect. I'm
Uh,
starting to because I'm back to like I really think like my first like the very first like where I think like maybe I couldn't have gotten first, but maybe if I didn't do this, I got in second instead of third. Was that X those so many extra rolls on three or
oh
when I
yeah.
did roll.
Honestly, to be honest, I think you probably still could have won this game. Like with either with Egg, I think Egg could have been a win condition. Um, and also if we kind of optimized our rolls on like late stage four, where like
Mm-hmm.
we buy the mech units, we buy with the set, and we keep the
Yeah.
Samiras and everything. We keep the Aphelios and stuff like that. That's also could have been a win condition for sure. But yeah, TFT, it's like such a deep game where it's like even at like high level and then even at the highest level, if you like watch people play, you could just see like a million mistakes. And that's how hard it is to be like very efficient and very good at the game. Like yes, there's a million ways that you can low roll and there's like variance and everything. But there's also infinite things that are in your control, which makes the game really, really difficult to play like perfectly or impossible to play perfectly, just because
Yeah.
there's so many decisions that you have to make that it's just impossible to make all of them correct. Um, but yeah, so it like it's hard to get better, but the only way is fixing a few mistakes at a time.
Yeah. True
Uh,
that. True that.
yeah,
It's
so
okay for sure. 8.5, you'll see me. I'll be
yeah,
up there.
yep. I'm thinking the same thing.
Uh,
8.5 starting tomorrow.
8.5 starting. I just gotta find a PBE account, but I'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Dude, that's so dude, it's so dumb, Riot. Like you get no honor point, nothing playing TFT. And then it's like you need like a certain honor points to get the PBE.
Oh, really? Oh, so you have to play.
I think you have to be like
Oh, you have to play
honor
like.
level 2 or
Oh, so you
something
have to
like
play like
that.
regular league or something. Okay, I wasn't. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, hold
That's
up.
unfortunate.
Yeah, like for the PBE, you gotta have a certain like honor level, but then you don't get those honor level just playing regular TFT. It's only league.
Oh, that's yeah.
I know
That's
I learned that today.
that is pretty
I
sucky.
but I could be wrong because like maybe what I looked at was wrong.
I'm
Let
not
me
sure. Okay, so um, I think start past the hero augments, just being like kind of weighing the pros and cons of like leveling, especially on like especially when you're doing aggressive levels, so levels off of perfect interval, off of like,
uh-huh.
like leveling to 6 on 3-1, leveling to 5 on 2-3. Uh well, yeah, stuff like that. Doing those levels, you just want to be more sure or you want to have a solid reason that you believe in before you do it. And if you're just like kind of doing it to do it, I would probably recommend not doing it, or yeah, just you need a solid reason to do those levels like on 2-3. So I think
Got
in
it.
your case it was actually fine, but just going forward, I think that's a very easy mistake to make. Is just unconsciously like leveling and spending gold.
Got
Um,
it.
and then in the same light, also rolling. So you want to be sure that you're rolling for a lot of things so that you have like a high you have high value for your rolls. So like even if you roll, let's say you have like really like you have 5 pairs or whatever, you roll and you don't hit, it's unlucky, but it's not something that you can like necessarily regret. It's something that you
Yeah.
could feel bad about, but it's not something that you could regret because it was the right decision. And that's all you could do is make the correct decisions. Like you just have to try to do the thing that's correct, and then eventually, and most of the time, you like it will work out. But then in this case, most of the time this won't work out, but then it actually kind of does work out because you get set Samira in the same shop. But
Mhm.
then we keep rolling.
And then we
So
care.
yeah, and then we end up like selling the set. So um, stuff like that is stuff we have to work on. And then okay, uh, the
I
spot
need
we
to work on like I'm also I just need to remember that like during that when I hit Samura set, I should have asked myself again, do
Mhm,
I still need to roll?
mhm.
And I think like I had this set plan, look for these pairs,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was tunnel vision.
yeah. That's also something that you'll improve on with experience. Is you ask yourself, do you need to roll? And then you'll tell yourself yes. You'll keep rolling, and then you play out your rounds, and you're like, oh, I definitely didn't need to roll. Because like you're already strong enough. And then you'll get to points where you say, do I need to keep rolling? And you're like, ah, this looks good enough. And then you get like 7-0'd in the next fight. Um, So that's something that will come with experience and with time. It also with like I don't know what the word is for it, but it's like your like eye test will get better, where you can kind of look at a board and you could scout around and look at everyone else's board and you could think, okay, this is strong enough or this is not strong enough.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
like I know what you're saying. It's like when the first couple of days the new set come and you're rolling down and you're like, what
oh,
the fuck am I looking for?
oh,
But then after a few weeks in, it's easier to roll down.
yeah. Oh, I think 8.5 is gonna be a whole new reset where it's like you have no idea how strong people's boards are just because like one balance is going to be out of whack, and then
Yep.
new traits, new units, new mechanics. It's going to be tough for, but that's why it's PB. Okay, and then here just noticing like the golden egg angle.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was a mistake to not roll here.
Level to 8.
Yeah, level to 8 and roll. We're gonna be 8 with 40. That's like perfectly good amount to like we don't necessarily have to roll to 0. But it's pretty reasonable to at least get some kind of upgrade, like a Sedge 2, Alistar 2, maybe a Samira 2, something better than Galio. I usually would not be playing Galio on stage 4 if I could help it. Um, Something better than this Fiora. Maybe like one Urgot, one Fiddle, one of those, one Aphelios, something like that. It's pretty likely within 40 gold. Um, we do kind of have low roll, a bit of a low roll on 4-3, but I think that gets made up in the next few rolls. And then just like I guess it kind of also seemed like you were confused with what you were going for. Uh,
Yeah.
Even if what you're going, if even if like your plan is like kind of scuffed, if you have a set plan, it will keep your mind clear and it will help you play. So like, let's say your goal is to play 3 mech, um 3 mech and all that stuff. You might end up
Hmm.
skipping some like some other things that you could play. But at least you don't do like what you do here, which is like you like buy and sell a lot of different units. Um, and like if you just like were set on I'm going to play
These units and
yeah,
these units.
yeah,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't like be skipping the Jaxes and the Wukongs and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I guess just like having like before you roll, also just like having a kind of some kind of game plan of like what you're looking for. Um,
Yeah.
okay. So
Nice.
that
Nice.
we remake this, which is good, and then also this spot we can play for a higher cap if we just keep the Samiras, get Samira 2 online, and then eventually get like Ophelios and all that stuff. Um, that'd be good. And then in that
Mhm.
case, I feel like if you did have everything and you were strong enough, we could like potentially go level 9 here, and then maybe we can try to win the game from level 9, put in like 4 Aegis or something. And I don't know, maybe we can beat Yumi.
I'm just happy that Yumi board is gone.
Oh, next set? Oh, I
Is
haven't really.
it? I hope so. I
I'm
mean,
gonna assume yes. I actually haven't
yeah.
looked into set 8.5 very much. I'm probably gonna do that tonight and tomorrow. But I haven't looked into 8.5 very much. I'm excited to play though.
Same,
Okay.
same, same.
Uh, do you have any
And
other like questions or comments and stuff?
um, no, I think right now I'm really good. You answer all my questions I asked. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was amazing. Like you went over everything and thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, if you have any other questions or whatever, you could just DM me.
For
Uh,
sh-
okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
for sure, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. All right. Good luck in your games. I will see you on the next one.
Okay. It will probably be for um well I guess since well I guess I'll probably wait. Wait, can I wait like let's say like